Ethan pushed open the glass door of the cafe, the little bell above it chiming softly. The smell of freshly ground coffee and vanilla filled the air, mixing with the sound of quiet chatter and soft jazz. He brushed off the rain from his jacket, looking around for the girl his friend had been so insistent about. "She'll be the one by the window reading," his friend had texted. And there she was. A young woman sat near the window, her hair falling over one shoulder as she read from a small paperback. There was something calm yet magnetic about her presence. She looked up as he approached, her eyes warm but cautious, and when she smiled, something inside him relaxed instantly. "Lily?" he asked. She nodded. "Ethan." They both laughed, the awkwardness fading a little. They ordered coffee, and conversation flowed more naturally than he expected. They talked about favorite movies, books, how they both hated small talk.
She was funny, quick-witted,
and her laugh, soft but full of life, made him forget the rain tapping on the window. But as he reached to pass her sugar, he noticed her hand shaking slightly. The spoon rattled, and she quickly steadied it with her other hand, forcing a smile. Ethan hesitated, unsure if he should pretend not to notice. When she reached for her cup, her movements were slow, careful, like each motion had been practiced many times. Then he saw it. The wheelchair tucked slightly behind the table, partly hidden by the chair she sat in. For a brief second he froze. His mind raced. His friend hadn't said anything about this. He didn't know what to say, what to do. Lily must have noticed the flicker of surprise in his eyes. Her expression shifted, calm but tinged with something like resignation. "You didn't know, did you?" she said quietly. Ethan blinked, caught off guard. "Know what?" "That I'm half-paralyzed." She gave a small, practiced smile, one that didn't reach her eyes. "It happened a few years ago. Car accident. My legs still respond a little, but not enough to walk without help." He opened his mouth to speak, but the words tangled somewhere in his throat. "It's okay," she said gently. "You don't have to stay if it's out of pity. Most people don't." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The sound of rain filled the silence between them. Ethan looked at her, really looked. The strength behind her calmness, the quiet confidence in her voice. He took a slow breath and smiled faintly. "I didn't come here for pity, Lily. I came here for coffee." Her lips twitched into a small, surprised laugh. The tension melted just a little. He leaned forward, meeting her eyes again. "Besides," he said, "you haven't even told me your favorite book yet." She laughed again, this time genuinely, and for the first time that night, she believed maybe he really did mean it. The rain outside grew heavier, but inside, something fragile and unexpected began to form between them. Ethan stepped into the cafe, brushing raindrops from his jacket as the bell above the door chimed softly. The smell of coffee beans and warm pastries filled the air, wrapping around him like comfort. He scanned the room, his friend's message echoing in his mind. "She's the one by the window. You'll know when you see her." And he did. She sat by the window, a paperback open in her hands, strands of brown hair falling over her face. There was a quiet grace about her, something still, something strong. Ethan hesitated for a second before walking over, his palms slightly sweaty. "Lily?" he asked. She looked up, startled for a moment, and then smiled, a small, delicate smile that made her eyes brighten. "Ethan." He nodded, pulling out the chair across from her. "Sorry, I'm a little late." "The rain was worse than I expected." "It's fine," she said, her tone calm and gentle. "I love the rain. It makes everything feel slower." They talked easily at first. The conversation wandered through books, favorite movies, their mutual dislike of loud places. She had a soft laugh, the kind that made people want to say something funny again just to hear it. Ethan found himself smiling more than he had in weeks. The waiter brought their drinks, and as Lily reached for her cup, Ethan noticed her hand trembling slightly. The spoon clattered against the saucer. She steadied it with her other hand, pretending not to notice. When she tried to lift the cup, her arm moved carefully, deliberately, as if each action was something she'd rehearsed 100 times. Something tugged at him. He glanced down and saw it, a wheelchair tucked behind the table, half hidden by the corner of the wall. His heart stuttered for a moment. His friend hadn't mentioned this. Lily saw the flicker of confusion in his eyes. Her fingers froze on the handle of her cup. She exhaled slowly, looking away. "You didn't know, did you?" she said softly. Ethan blinked. "Know what?" "That I'm partially paralyzed." She gave a small, almost apologetic smile. "Car accident. It's been a few years now. I can't walk without help." Ethan sat back, words caught somewhere between surprise and guilt. He didn't know what to say. He didn't want to say the wrong thing. "It's okay," she said, still smiling. But her voice had that practiced calmness of someone who'd said those words too many times before. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. You don't have to pretend to be nice. For a moment, all Ethan could hear was the sound of rain hitting the glass beside them. People around laughed, cups clinked, but their corner felt frozen in silence. He finally leaned forward, his voice quiet but steady. "I didn't come here because I had to, Lily. I came because I wanted to." She looked up, meeting his gaze, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "I mean," he continued, a small smile tugging at his lips, "you haven't even told me your favorite book yet. How can I leave before I know that?" Lily blinked, caught off guard. Then to his relief she laughed, a real unguarded laugh this time. The tension between them softened. "Okay," she said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "But only if you promise not to judge my answer." "I promise," he said, smiling. Outside, the rain poured harder, tracing patterns down the window. Inside, something fragile but real began to take root between them, something neither of them expected. When the night began,